Miami Community Newspapers. Today is Aventura Marketing Council Day, right?
Absolutely.
World-class Chamber of Commerce. It's big, a lot of words. We've been associated with the marketing councils from the beginning. We got Gary, you're the chairman?
Chairman of the board of directors, yes,
How
sir.
many years you been chairman?
For approximately the last 5 or 6 years. Prior to that, board member and member for about the last 15 years.
Andy, and how long you been with the Aventura Marketing Council?
I've been a member of the Aventura Marketing Council over 30 years.
By the way, I don't measure by years. I measure by weight. So mine is about 45 pounds.
Yeah, I've gained at least 25 pounds since I joined the Marketing Council.
And tell everybody what you've done with the Marketing Council.
The Marketing Council sent me in a direction when I first, I'm a photographer, by the way. I got into photography business, met Elaine 30 years ago when she first started running the Marketing Council. And she turned me in a corporate direction and changed my whole life, really, with the type of photography that I did.
Wow. Cantor?
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good morning.
So what do you do for a living? You're starting a mental health organization?
Yeah. Well, I have been a cantor for 30 years. I'm also a rabbinical student. I'm a cantor in one of the most prominent synagogues, in Aventura area, being all around the world, originally from Argentina. I worked in Dominican Republic, in Barcelona, also in different states here in the United States. And we, with my wife, yes, Marcela Gomez Bogomolny, we're starting
Can you say it a little faster? Slower, I'm kidding with you.
The name of my wife or what I'm just talking. Argentinians, we talk really, really, really fast. But with my wife, Marcela Gomez Bogomolny.
There you go.
Bogomolny. By the way, Bogomolny means the person who praises God in Ukrainian and Slavic languages. So it works well.
So my family's from Ukraine.
Oh, really? Well,
okay, so you can't tell our heads are really.
No, yeah, right.
Really.
So we are opening. Yes, you're right. We are opening a community mental health center in the North Miami Beach and Aventura area, which we think is very, very much needed. And that's one of the reasons I'm kind of retiring from the full-time pulpit after so many years, because I felt, and when my wife, who's a clinical social worker, also she had her own business, as well. We decided and we thought and we felt that the TAL, this is the name of our community mental health center, TAL, TAL, which means transformation, affection, and love. It was a response to the need in the society, especially in the underserved communities in our area, which is the Haitian community, the Holocaust survivors community, the second generation of survivors, the Orthodox community coming from different places, the Argentinian community, the Brazilian community. They're all underserved in our area, and it's so much, much needed.
Oh. So we skipped over, Gary. What do you do for a living?
For a living, I work with Campbell Property Management Services.
What is that?
We are a property management company. We do condominium associations, homeowners associations, garden style associations. I've spent the last major part of my career, if you will, the last 25 to 30 years educating board of directors for associations, managing associations
manage
for people.
Their properties for them.
Manage their properties, manage their day-to-day operations for them, giving advice, educational programs, working with board of directors to manage their properties. It's in today's world, I'm not sure, but almost everybody in today's world now, especially here in South Florida, lives in some type of an association.
So I noticed in the last, since Surfside, I want you to talk about Surfside, but now I'm seeing all these apartment buildings condemned. The city's doing it. The counties are doing it. Their own associations are doing it. Why don't you elaborate on it? And the 40-year, it's a myth. Why is it 40 years? Why isn't there a check at 20 years or 30 years or 50 years?
So first of all, the unfortunate, as we all know, the incident in Surfside has just sent construction, association living in a complete tailspin. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It was a tragic incident, obviously, but the effects of that have affected community associations across the board. As we know, there were just two more buildings. Let's call them buildings. There were just two more buildings in the last couple of days in Bay Harbor that were evacuated. Prior to this tragic accident, if you will, and I list it as an accident, life went on in associations. As I said, most of South Florida in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County people live in some sort of an association, condominium homeowners association. We actually in the Tri-County area have the highest concentration of associations in the United States in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County. But the tragic accident itself, as I said, put things in a tailspin. What do I mean by that? As was asked, years and years ago, if you followed the news, there was a tragic building collapse in Miami Beach, and that was actually a federal building. As a result of that, an engineer was asked, Pistorino and Alam, to come in to determine why. That was the very, very first time there were any rules and regulations put around
What
buildings.
year, how many years ago was that? Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
That-
Probably close to 40, 50 years ago.
That's how the 40-year.
And out of that accident, it was a set of basic rules that came, no rhyme or reason, but the 40-year certification, if you will, that program to inspect buildings came about. It's interesting, though, because even though it came about, the only two counties that require certifications in associations and basically condominiums we're talking about are Dade and Broward. It's obviously being looked at because of the tragic accident, but the only really two counties that have the quote unquote recertification program are Dade and Broward. And it's at your 40 years and then every 10 years after that, 40, 50, 60 and on.
Okay, I got a question.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to drill him.
Yeah.
I'm the lucky one, I
Okay,
guess.
but when you get a 40-year inspection, the John Does, the people in the John or Jane or Jose,
Right.
I want to cover everything. They think that the government's inspecting the building. That is incorrect.
That is very incorrect. The onus is actually on the associations
Or the owner of that building.
or the owner of that building, if you will, like the two recent evacuations in Bay Harbor were rental communities, not condominium associations. The onus is actually on the association. And what had happened was when this tragic accident happened 40, 50 years ago, the onus was on the county, Dade County. And we all know it's very hard to manage that number of associations. Now, as a result of Surfside, what we see as a trend is the onus is being pushed back to the municipalities. So now every municipality has been required to do an audit of associations 40 years and older. And obviously, because of the tragic accident, the heightened awareness is on associations. And it was a tragic accident, but out of that came the awareness of taking care of your buildings and the forcefulness of now associations have to act, where before it was, we'll get to it when we can. We don't have the money to do it. But now out of this, the 40-year inspections, which includes your structural component, your exterior of the buildings, your roofing, your electrical system, and your illumination, common area lighting. Those are the three facets of 40-year recertification.
It's interesting because I didn't realize in the 40-year inspection, the lighting's an important factor.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are really, they concentrate on three. Two of them really, your electrical and your exterior. We call it the building envelope, your roof and the exterior. But illumination is a requirement because of lighting, because of safety, security. But that's hasn't been like the top. When people talk about recertifications, they talk about the structure itself, the integrity of the building, and the electrical that's there.
So since this tragedy happened,
Yes.
Is everybody and all your, I call your members, but your clients,
Yes.
are they all nervous? Are they all asking to do more stuff?
Nervous is putting it very lightly. Now, because of the heightened awareness, every unit owner in an association, their heightened awareness in paying attention to their association has just lifted leaps and bounds. What do I mean by that? We have now unit owners that call the office, call their municipality, send emails to the office, when I was leaving or coming to the association, I saw. What about this? Have you looked at this? What are we doing about this? And it's also now transcended not only to the unit owners, but to the board of directors, because the board of directors, which is elected by the unit owners, now has a heightened awareness or a greater responsibility to take action for the safety and well-being of all its unit owners. They've always had that responsibility, but now it has been brought to the forefront.
Being on a board, hopefully each board has board insurance, right?
I would hope so, yes.
That means you're covered if you do something. But the other thing is that the and I don't know about this issue, but some people go, we can't afford that increase.
That has been the
And was
out
that-
clause for associations up until now.
Correct, because I don't know if it's this Surfside, but there was discussion. We can't afford that $500,000 passed on to us.
Correct.
I know somebody that their fees are going up double.
At least in some instances,
And
more
then-
so.
Right.
Right.
So that's if I'm a board member, you got to vote, and if you don't vote it, you got to do it, right? If there's things you got to do, you got to do it.
As I said, unfortunately, out of this tragedy in the association world, I mean, it's hard to look at it this way, but there are, unfortunately, a lot of good things that are coming out of this for the association world, and that is absolutely one of them. In the past, a board of directors' number one priority is its fiduciary responsibility. But when it comes to projects and care of buildings, it's always been a thought process or a mind process of, we don't have the money for it now. We'll address it at a later date. We'll get to it when we can. But now those, I don't want to use the word excuses, but they are those excuses. That mindset has been pushed to the side. Now associations have an obligation, which they've always had, to take care of their building. And now with the heightened awareness, with the involvement of municipalities, with the things we see, closing of buildings, associations, things like that, evacuations, associations now have to take the approach, whatever it takes to protect our unit owners, we have to do. We must raise those funds. We cannot put things off anymore like we have in the
We're going
past.
to talk to you two in a second, but I got a couple more questions. Got a question. You live in an association. Sometimes the insurance covers your condo. Should you get other insurance?
Well, two things. In a condominium association, which is different than a homeowners association, single family dwelling. In a condominium association, the condominium is responsible for the insurance of the common areas of the association. Each individual homeowner,
Just for condos or single home?
for condominiums, let's talk about condos.
Let's use Surfside. Let's use
Okay,
the project.
Surfside, that association was responsible, the board of directors of that association was responsible for ensuring, from an insurance standpoint, the common areas of the association. Each individual homeowner still has a responsibility to ensure their interior walls of their building. The association is responsible for the walls of the building and the common areas.
The wall, outside
The walls out, and if the room that we're in right now, if this was our condominium, the association is responsible for a portion of the dwelling. But as a unit owner, a condominium owner, I am responsible for the walls in all of my contents, certain things inside the walls of my unit. Interesting that you bring up that question of insurance, because what we are seeing at Campbell Property Management now is, by talking to agents and by educating board of directors, that moving forward for budget years, we're in the process now of starting to prepare budgets for 2022. What we're seeing now is, because of everything, because of hurricanes, but because of this recent incident, we're seeing insurance rates that insurance agents are giving us information back going into 2022 for budgets that insurance rates will most likely or are increasing in the rates of 15 to 20%. And in some associations, that amounts to significant dollars, because in condominiums, insurance for condominiums is one of your largest budgeted items. So those increases not only will, they will impact unit owners' fees going into 2022, but it's a fact of life, and it's things we have to deal with now.
Next question.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that type of business?
I about 30 years ago, I had
Out of college.
out of college. Yes, college graduate.
No, 30 years ago, just graduating.
Actually, it was probably less than that, to be
Okay.
honest with you. I've always had gray hair. But when I graduated college, I opened up in Sunny Isles. I had a beach business. Things were great then, right? Sunny Isles was called Motel Row then, if you all remember. I had a beach business outside the back of many of the hotels and resorts. And at that time, association management was really just starting to blossom. And a gentleman that I knew had asked me if I was interested in getting into the industry, and I put him off for a long time. And then finally, I just gave in one day and said, okay, I will come and talk to you. If I do that, will you leave me alone? Okay. So I literally went to talk to some individuals, and one individual who I've always respected, his name is Gene Gomberg. He was really a founder of property management here in South Florida. He walked into the room and he said, Gary, I've heard a lot of good things about you. It's nice to meet you. You'll be very successful here. If there's anything you need, let me know. And he turned around and walked out of the door. And that was literally how I started in property management over 30 years ago. And that has been my career since then.
Congratulations. And let's talk about you. How'd you start in it? By the way, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I moved here in 1975 and transplant from Pennsylvania, and it's nice and warm.
Wow. So, Andy, where'd you grow up? How'd you get into the business?
Well, I grew up. I grew up in Long Island. Came here when I was 15. Family hated the snow. Wanted to come to sunny South Florida. In high school, actually, I think it was my bar mitzvah. Somebody gave me a camera. So going back to then, once I had that camera, and it was all tunnel vision for the rest of my life. In high school, I worked in small photo labs and small studios. And then after college, during college and after college, I got a break into the sports world, and I became a sports photographer. So for all the Marino years, for 15 years, I photographed the Dolphins, the Hurricanes, the Heat, the Panthers, the Marlins.
For local media.
For local media. Oh, UPI, AP also.
Right.
Associated Press, United Press. And I was a stringer for the Sentinel. I was a stringer for the Herald. So I did a lot of that. So I was on the football field, every field, for 15 years. But at the same time, I was trying to cultivate a corporate business, on location studio, executive portraiture, and it grew into doctors, lawyers, hospitals, cities, a lot of event, a lot of corporate event, and a lot of public event too. And
What was your biggest client?
my biggest client?
Event. What was one event that was huge?
I would say one of my clients was the Aventura Jewish Center, and the Aventura Jewish Center would bring very, very lots of politicians, and I actually had one-on-ones with President Clinton. I had one-on-ones with Prime Minister Shamir. I had Shimon Peres also had one-on-ones with Benjamin Netanyahu. I actually picked him up at the airport, me and him in a limousine, and brought him back to the Aventura Jewish Center. So yeah, I've had a lot of interesting, if you want to call that, celebrity photo shoots.
Oh, absolutely. Just want you to be aware. 1969, I won the photo contest at the youth fair as a sixth grader. The youth fair, 1969.
1969, I was 10. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of my loves too. All right, so you did sports, and now what kind of photos do you do now?
Right now, we specialize in public relations and marketing, on location studio, lifestyle photography for professionals and corporations. A lot of corporate events are not as busy as they used to. No events are busy right now, but things are coming back. The pandemic, of course, has slowed everything down or stopped it.
You had some models. You were taking photos of models for a while.
I did a lot of models, but here
Gary and I were modeling. They're younger models.
not
Yeah,
necessarily.
our days are modeling are over.
The issue with doing models is it's fun and exciting to do, but to make a living and make money, models are not big money makers when they start out. But of course, a lot of them become very successful. So it's not a good stream of income revenue to be photographing the beautiful people all the time. Like I said, corporations pay their bills. Models don't necessarily pay their bills.
Gotcha. All right, cantor. How'd you get into being a cantor, and now you're in the mental health? Why did you decide you wanted to be a cantor, and where did you grow up?
I grew up in Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Argentina.
Yes, don't cry for me,
Yeah,
Argentina.
I love that song.
Yeah, I love it too, especially since I left. I grew up in Argentina. I grew up until I was 18 years old. I became a cantor because of my cantor. It was just, the people who prepared me for my bar mitzvah, they just had a love for what they were doing. They showed their passion, and I say, I want to do that. Of course, I like the applause, of the people every time I sang, So my cantor gave me a lot of room. This was a little synagogue in a small neighborhood. And
what was the Jewish population in Argentina?
The Jewish population in Argentina then, it was around 300,000
In the whole country.
in the whole country.
But in the city that you were in?
I mean, I was in my neighborhood. You mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Buenos Aires has, in Argentina it's different than here, that you have so many different metropolis. In Argentina, like 14 million people live in Buenos Aires, and the rest of the country, the other 20 million. I mean, it's
Right, I got you. Okay.
So I grew up in Argentina. That's how I started. And when I was 18 and a half years old, I had been already doing, some gigs in the synagogues and, paid jobs and everything. And I was recommended to go to the Dominican Republic to become like the spiritual or the director of the community in the north called Sosua. And I was 18 and a half. And I say, that's fine. I go. And I went there. I lived in Dominican Republic for 3 years. Then I moved to Barcelona. I lived there for 3 years. I worked and served congregations as well. And then I moved to the United States, worked in Omaha, Nebraska first for 7 years.
Where?
Omaha, Nebraska.
What were you doing in Omaha?
I was a cantor.
Wait. There's a temple in Nebraska? Or
it's funny enough you mentioned that when I was.
Is that the only temple in the whole state?
No, actually, no. They have one. It's interesting, but Omaha, Nebraska. First of all, you have Warren Buffett there, who was the best friend of the emeritus rabbi of my synagogue, who became millionaire because of Warren Buffett. So
how did he become a millionaire? He followed his money.
He actually started. They were neighbors, and that was when Warren Buffett was starting. And then he said, "What do you do for a living?" Well, I work with the market. That was back in the 50s. And then he said, "Market? What is that? I mean, give me $1,000." That's how it started. And then he returned after a week, like double the amount. And he said, "Okay, that works." Then they became friends, and he became actually his name was Rabbi Kripke. And he was a millionaire, until his 90s when he passed away.
Wow.
And
so you moved to Nebraska.
I went to Nebraska. Then I moved. I had kids, and I moved to the.
Where did you meet your wife?
So this is my second marriage. My first wife, I met her in Barcelona.
Right.
We had 2 kids together, and then we moved to Massachusetts. For 7 years, I lived in Needham, Massachusetts, and I also was a cantor there. And then I divorced, and I moved here. I remarried to Marcela Gomez, and And the rest is a little history. I moved here. I'm the cantor right now, the full-time cantor of Beth Dora Benny Rock campus. And now your question is how I'm also a rabbinical student. So how
What is that?
a rabbinical student is a person who studied to be a rabbi. So I have wanted, for a long time to be a rabbi. Um, so I didn't start studying before because I said that I didn't want to be a young rabbi. I want to be a rabbi with experience. I always thought, at least if you're going to be the ultimate spiritual leader, of the community, and people are going to approach you with different issues and you're going to counsel and guide, your congregation, that it couldn't be like a 25-year-old, with no experience. Maybe you're not even married. Maybe you have only a little baby, so after all, I'm 44 years old now. I do believe that I had passed a lot of different storms in my life.
That's where the wise man.
I think so, actually. I think it helps. So I have been studying for the last 5 years. Very part time. Eventually I get there. Now, how I got last year with the pandemic, I think it was hitting us all in different. In the synagogue, we were like live streaming, to a camera, no people. It was almost like robotic, kind of like these futuristic movies from the 80s that ended up happening, for us as reality. And there was one day I said, I need to serve the community in a larger, different way. I need to go beyond these four walls. I need even to come with an idea, to serve you in my communities from the outside, because a lot of things are happening, in these four walls, in not only those four walls, and outside there, how can I get myself to transfer my skills that I've done, for 30 years, to really impact the world, to impact the society. And I look around and there is a lot of need. And my wife, being a clinical social worker, herself, we decided and we talked about maybe opening, a community mental health center, which we called a healing center, because our center is not just a real conventional, evidence-based therapy, which are, and our therapists are all licensed and everything, but also we are approaching the holistic approach.
Where's your location?
The location is in North Miami Beach. It's in Miami Gardens Drive and 14th.
Oh, perfect. We're gonna be wrapping up in a minute, but can you go get your guitar? Can you play a song?
You want me to play a song?
Yeah. While he's going, you're gonna go get that. And Gary's gonna talk about Aventura Marketing Council.
Aventura Marketing Council and Chamber of Commerce, obviously located in Aventura. We're all members of the Aventura that are here today of the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce. And we are obviously the local Chamber of Commerce. We service Aventura, we service North Miami Beach, Sunny Isles, Hollandale, Bay Harbor, Bal Harbor area, and we are that conduit between businesses and professionals and the community. We run tremendous programs. We are a little unique, and by that I say, as a Chamber of Commerce, our business model is a little bit different, and it's unique, and it's the only one I know of. And what I mean by that is when businesses and organizations and individuals join the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce, we have a membership fee. But after you pay your membership fee, the rest of all of our programs, depending on what level you are, our breakfast, our webinars, our social events, and everything like that are completely free. So we are unique in that aspect, but we are a leader and have been a leader in the community organizations with Chamber of Commerce's for a long time. Tremendous organization.
The name Marketing Council says it all. You use the word Aventura, but it's really not Aventura. It's North Dade. It goes from
Yes.
all the way down to past Miami Shores, all the way up to past Hollywood Circle. And, when you go there, some Chamber of Commerce, it's just you network. But this is not about network. This is about improving the community.
It's relationship building.
Yeah.
It's based on relationship building. And as you said, our boundaries are not just Aventura. It's termed that. That's what we're called. But it is the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce. And it is tremendous.
Serves everywhere.
Serves everywhere. We're open to everybody. Businesses, and one of our major focuses, obviously, is relationships and putting people together to expand their business and their relationships.
Absolutely. When you walk in there and you're a new member, when you leave your first meeting, you're going to be overwhelmed because you don't sit in the corner. Nobody in the marketing council will allow that.
Nobody.
You're going to end up meeting a lot of different people, and it's exciting. The marketing council, we belong to, I don't know, about 15 Chamber of Commerce's business association. I always talk about if you want to do it right, call 932-5334. They'll teach you how to do it right.
And we will answer the phone. Our president, Elaine Adler, has been our president of the Aventura Marketing Council and Chamber of Commerce since day one. And there is no more knowledgeable, right?
Yes,
Everybody's
sir.
a member. No more knowledgeable, no more upbeat person. And if you need anything, you dial that phone number
She's the
and
best.
Elaine will answer the phone and she will help you 100%.
And she knows she knows her members by name.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That's a very good point. You're not just a number. You're not a check for $500.
Not
She
at all.
knows exactly who you are, what you do, and how she can help you get more business.
She cares.
Which is nothing like any other chamber. I belong to a couple, and nothing compares.
The difference is if Elaine was here, the mic would be here, and this would be a little bit here. But everything has to be perfect. All right, Cantor, let's. We got about a minute and a half. Let's see what you got.
A minute and a half. Wow. First of all, it has to be tuned. So, this is not good. That's what happened with Miami, right? So you can say something. You don't want to hear my tuning.
Yes, we want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, so I don't know anything about. I didn't know there's a little gadget in there.
That's pretty
It's a little gadget here.
All right,
that's
ready?
pretty fancy.
Yeah.
It's very fancy.
So, but again, back to the marketing council. We've been all a long time,
Yes.
and through the virus, you guys are continue to push it through. And it's exciting.
We have not missed a single beat. We have, over this last period of time with COVID, we have continued to provide service to our members. We have done well over 200 Zoom meetings so we've continued that even though we're not in person, and we have had some of the most dynamic speakers and guests that have attended our webinars.
Go for it.
We'll sing a song of peace in Hebrew,
Okay.
for everyone. I think it's so much needed in the world.
Okay.
Ose shalom bimroma, yase shalom aleinu, be'al kol Yisrael, be'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. Da 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 Shalom bimroma, yase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen.
Outstanding.
Fantastic.
So to wrap it up, if you have any family, children, cousins, brothers, sisters, mothers, uncles, they have some issues, mental health, contact you.
Yes, they might contact us. When the phone number is, you can contact me. The phone number is 786-830-5880.
Perfect. Photo needs, headshots, parties,
Headshots,
weddings,
events,
bar mitzvahs.
family, all kind of event. Andrew Goldstein Photography. Phone number is 954-295-6190. You can call me anytime. We're on call all day.
And Gary, if you live in a condominium association, housing association, homes, singles,
Single family homes, condominium associations, low rise buildings, please give me a call. My cell phone number is 305-588-7658, and I promise I will answer the phone.
this is Grant Miller, Miami Community Newspaper. It's our pleasure. Everybody, let's have a great day. Thank you.